everybody coming out to spend a beautiful Sunday with us. And the rain has passed, and finally, we got a nice day. Took a couple of years, but we did. So, got a few people making their way in here. A full house here, good crowd of cars and stuff here. So I want to thank everybody for coming and helping out. And just want to make a couple of quick announcements before we get going. We have just a handful of t-shirts left, as I think we have extra larges and 1 2X. If we could sell those out, that will help offset our costs, as this year we do not have a major sponsor. So hopefully we're going to cover all the bills today. 50/50 tickets are out there at the booth, and we also are raffling 2 books that are autographed. One book is I'll Never Be Last Again by Bill Wimble, and the other one is The Life and Times of Bugsy Stevens. $5 for a raffle ticket out there, and we're going to draw 2 tickets, and hopefully we'll go home with a nice autographed racing book for their collection. So, without any further ado, I would ask everybody to please stand and remove your hats as we honor God and salute our country, and to offer our invitations today from the Schuyler Life United Methodist Church, Reverend Tom Bullybank.
Please join me in prayer. Gracious God, we thank you for the blessing of bringing us together on this day, together with friends and family. We remember those who are no longer with us. Especially on this day, dear God, we thank you for the gift of Red and Willie and Larry, Doug and Glenn, and how they teach us to run the race and run it well. Thank you, dear God, for this day and blessing of all who are gathered here. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please remain standing for our national anthem. We want to thank the Otsego County Fair Board for the use of the grounds to hold our annual event here. We want to Sharon Perry and Dave Condi for coming up with a vision in 1996. I want to thank Brent Cobb and Jim Florence for coming down here yesterday and spending some time with me to organize things and get everything all set together. So let's give those gentlemen a hand here today. I want to thank some of our volunteers, Sue Witter and some other folks here that have brought a few door prizes in. I would say next year, if you're planning on an event, if you could bring a door prize, that would be great. It doesn't have to be anything special. Some of our associate sponsors here today, the Trophy Guide and Sports Connection. If you need any awards or trophies, special recognitions, give my brother Mike a call over there on South Broad Street in Norwich. I'm sure he'll be glad to hook you up. Doesn't matter if you're on a bowling team, a fire department, high school basketball, whatever. He'll be able to take care of you. He does a fine job here with our trophies and awards. Custom Delivery Service, Custom Logo USA, who makers of our t-shirts. And also I do want to recognize Mr. Ron Hills from the Race Report Productions. Ron has been covering racing here for 32 years, and you can catch his local Race Report television show on Thursday nights at 11:05 on Fox 40. Mr. Ron Hills, thank you very much. We do have DVDs available from last year's event, and I believe 2008 and 2009, if you'd like a copy of them. Once again, everything under the tent out there. It makes a nice gift, keepsake for the family, and that kind of thing. We do want to make a quick mention here that today our induction ceremonies are dedicated of memory of Norm Norton, the Forrest Chalker, Don Dickendorf, Bobby Kane, 1998 Hall of Fame inductee Bill Schultz, and last year's 2011 inductee Dave Wright. And I was just brought to my attention today that Dave Stockton has passed away Labor Day weekend. So today's Hall of Fame ceremonies dedicated in memory of those gentlemen. Gone but not forgotten. Godspeed, gentlemen. Okay, I guess we'll get right on to the program. We're going to start off here with some of our Car Cruising award winners. If those folks are here, the best muscle car out there, we had two divisions. We had Best Antique, Best Hot Rod, and Best Muscle Car. Best Muscle Car, 1961 black and white Ford Sunliner. So was the owner of a black and white Ford Sunliner. Come on up and weigh your iron. Probably still out in the parking lot. Okay, we'll move right along to the Best Antique with the 1931 Ford truck. So we have somebody out there with the 31 Ford truck. Still in the parking lot. Okay, and the Best Hot Rod is a red 1972 Pontiac. And I see somebody making their way here to the stage. '72 Pontiac, and what's your name, sir?
Earl Blow.
Earl Blow, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Have you been to our event here before?
It's first time.
Hey. Congratulations. Hope we'll see you again here next year. All right. Thanks very much. We want to thank all the folks that did come to the Car Cruise In. It's kind of an impromptu thing here, and compliments once again of the Trophy Guide and Sports Connection for donating those trophies as car show section seems to get bigger and bigger every year. Got anything, Rick? have anybody that's interested in signing up to be on a committee to contact me either after the show or sometime here in the next couple of weeks. We'd like to get a couple of committees to organize the event for next year. We're looking for folks to kind of come in and help set up and take down the grounds. Also looking for some people to be on committees for marketing and fundraising and sponsorship. So if anybody is interested in helping out and organizing the show next year, please contact me. The sooner the better. And hopefully we'll have some people to have on those committees. And then we can go forward with plans for the 18th annual Central New York Stock Car Hall of Fame. Okay, we're going to get into our induction ceremony. Our first honoree today is going to be from our late model class, Mr. Larry Smith. Larry Smith. Larry was born in November 1934. That makes him 77 years young. And we asked him in a little survey, who had the most influence on you to start racing? And he said it was my mom. 1967, he said his brother was driving and his brake line broke. So they brought the car into the pits. He pinched off the brake line, so it made that brake line brake ineffective. And after the race, he told his mother, and she says, well, what are you doing? Trying to kill him out there? So, you're going to drive the car next year. So following year, he went out and he built his own car at the age of 34. He started in 1968 with a 61 Chevy with the number 61 on it. He's competed at Mid-State, Skyline Raceway, Rolling Wheels, Wheat Sport. And his first feature win came in 1968. And he won 2 features at Moore and 4 features in Skyline. He never won a track championship, and he finally retired from racing in 1979. One of his most memorable moments in his racing career on the track was when he had a rollover in 1974. He says Wayne King clipped the front end and took the front right A-frame out of his car, and he went out off the bank and into the parking lot at fair time. One of his most memorable moments off the track is one night on the way home from the race, he lost the race car off the trailer. Not a good feeling. When your old race car passes you, not a good sign. His favorite race car driver is Jake Follison and Rocky Rothwell. Who is his toughest competitor? Stu Space at Skyline. Any special recognitions for Larry? He says is to his son Alan, but he has not won, but he's always been a front runner in the 4-cylinder mods, and he always helps out to build the cars and the motors. His brother Dan races in the number 82 4-cylinder. He's won a lot of races, and he can race the street stock and won 2 points champion trophies. His hobbies now are just watching races and helping guys with their cars and building motors. If anything differently, when he's done that in his career, and I think we probably all know the answer to this, because pretty much everybody says nothing. He said Jack Manwarn used my engine at Holt Speedway for their week's race there and won 2 out of 3, and he came in second once. So he's still involved, loves to go to the races. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the stage our 2012 honoree, Mr. Larry Smith.
There's your award. You want to say a few words to the folks?
Oh, glad to be here, and I had a lot of fun. That's the way it is. Yeah.
All right, well, let's Mr. Larry Smith, take your place over next to the Hall of Fame trophy, and we'll give folks a chance to come over here to get some photos with the Hall of Fame trophy.
We don't have a camera. Papa got it too.
Come on, Marty, you got He's always in a hurry. I'll tell you just a quick story about Larry back in the day here. Won't take but a minute because it didn't take long. He came into the race.
Real work, ladies and gentlemen.
He came in one night and he wanted to, he seen I ride manifold on my car. He said, man, I like that one at the time. So next week he comes back and what's he got on there? He's got a wooden block he's cut out, carved out. Sets up about this high, he can't get the hood on, it's got a hole in the hood. I said, Larry, that thing's gonna burn up on me. I mean, but he didn't, he ran it, yeah, that was a good time. So, it was a great fundraiser. Good job.
Well, we always do that time, huh? Mr. Jim Rodwell, where are you? Stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2012 Skyline Track Champion, Jim Rocky Rodwell. Who wins the Skyline Raceway, had a great season up there, and glad to have Rocky here in attendance. He's been here over the last couple of years, but certainly we like to support and promote all the local races here and around through the area. So great job done. We're really proud of you, Rocky. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand it over to Rick Perry.
I don't need that. I got a big mouth. Getting back to what Jim was discussing on this all beginning in 1996, we've got quite a list of names here. I'd like to go through this. 96, Freddie Giroux, Bernie Ingersoll, Frank Trinkus, Tom Wilson, Freddie Shepard, Richard Sanders. 97, Al Sanders, Grayson Smith, Bernie Miller, Jimmy Giroux, Eddie Ryan. 98, Red Billicum, Maynard Smith, Curzon Carey, Bill Schultz, which we just lost. Vern Angel. 99, Rudy Slapper, Gene Cole, Danny Smallman, Smokey Joe Norton, Willie Woos, Chuck Mahoney. 2000, Gordy Smith, Pete Cortez, John Wynn, Jimmy Mott, Barney Barnard, Dick Schoonover. 2001, Ray Bungie, Junior Tumlitz, Bud Henman, Joe Donahue, Teresa Elliott, who was a former promoter here. Teresa run the track 71 and 72. 2002, Bill Rose, Jerry Wisnowski, Earl Order, Maurice Mariotti, Jackie Ruger, Tommy Williams Sr. 2003, Billy Brumschmidt, Bill Newell, Bill Northup, Bob Wood, Bob Zimmerman, Walt Smith, Johnny Thayer. 2004, Bobby Gibbs, Don Newell, Jerry Christian, Norm Moyer. 2005, Gene Johnson, Marty Ashley, Mert Albert, Larry Nye, Otto Graham. 2006, Chuck Akula, Stan Wetmore, Russell Carr, Bill Selmack, Wayne King, Cliff Colterry. The Morris Fire Department Emergency Squad was honored for their years of service for the fire truck and ambulance here for races. 2007, Don Pierce, Don Beagle, Larry Witter, Al Turner, Dickie Sweet, Otsego County Fair Association. 2008, Joe Bout, Ray Canner, Brett Cobb, Ron Cook, Jerry Townley. 2009, Chuck Brady, Lou Searing, Skip Palmer, Ralph Humphrey, Don Phoenix. 2010, Art Kaiser, John Boyce, Lauren Arnold Sr., Fred DeCar, Ray Cawley. 2011, Larry Gruber, Jim Lyhall, Jim Jennings, Dave Wright, Ron Patrick. And this year you have Fred Harrington, Willie Whiteman, Larry Smith, Dougie Rundell, and Glenn Holly. Any of the names I called, would you please stand up?
Come on, Charlie, get up.
Note, a lady asked when they started racing here at Mid-State. The first known race here was 1949. It was a sprint car race. In my trailer over there, you'll see I've got a poster from that particular event. And then they started with the actual stock car racing here in 1950. It run for the Consolidated Racing Association. Through the years, I've compiled a lot of information, pictures, news clippings, one-on-one conversations with people, and as we speak, I'm working on, right now, doing the history of the Brookfield Speedway. That's what it started out to be. I got from 1950, the first known race there was 1935, and I acquired a photocopy of program for a sprint car race out there. As time went on, I combined Brookfield and Morris, and then I took you back to Brookfield when they ended up in 1995 under the Mike Budka leadership. It only lasted a year and started part of another year. And right now, my groundwork, I have 34 pages, and I'm adding to it all the time. And I'm glad that I haven't really put nothing to print, because through conversation, right here at the Mid-State Speedway years ago, with the concession stand, they got kind of not down in the dumps, but they needed some help. And they formed a group called the Racing Wives Auxiliary, which consisted of Pat Brown, Donald Wisnowski, Gail Fargo, Linda Milhorter, Lula Polly, Janet Rose, Mary, help me out, Nat, and a lady by the name of Terryville. We could not put a last name on her. If it hadn't have been for these ladies in there flipping the hamburgers, doing the hot dogs and selling the soda and the coffee, I kind of think our concession stand at that time there would have fell flat on its face. And I can remember after, a lot of nights after the race, and Sunday afternoons especially, by the log cabin, some of the cookouts we had. A lot of sweet corn and a lot of beer. If they hadn't have been for these ladies helping out, you would have just basically had auto racing here with no concession stand. And I would like to recognize them, and they would be mentioned in my article. Are here present. If you got a funny story you'd like to tell, go ahead and say it. If not, you better bite your tongue, because you'll never get this chance again. I got a couple I can bring up, but I'd rather not. Their husbands are present now. Thanks to them, they kind of pulled this thing back together and kept that thing going for at least another good 3 years. And with that, I'd like to give it back to Jim.
Thank you, Rick. Let's see. We have a nice display of cars here, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring up 4 or 5 guys at a time that have brought cars here to display for you folks to look at and enjoy and reminisce. Let's see. John Mason, Mike Newell, Brent Cobb, John and Barb Clark, and Frank Blanchard. If you would please come forward. Don't be bashful. All right, let's give these folks a hand here, and we'll have them quickly sign. Brent, you've recreated car that used to race here at Mid-State, Skyline, and a few other tracks around. Been out there after 35 years of working in retirement. It's good to see you out there, and I've actually been behind the microphone down at Thunder Mountain, and boy, I'll tell you, to watch you go around the track sure does bring back a lot of good memories.
Yeah, but too bad that you don't get any further than, that 4-turn wall.
Well, that comes on and keeps playing, huh?
Yeah.
Well desired. So anyways, well, thank you very much. We do have a little trophy here, and I'll step on over here. And Bart Clark, General Manager of the Utica Rome Speedway, glad to have you here today. And we have a special car here today that you guys dragged over. So I wanted to know a little bit about that one. Where's Mr. John Clark? Okay.
It is a Doug Rundell chassis build. It's Joe Norton car, number 3X. My husband and son just finished it yesterday, so it'll be down here. They brought it down here last night.
And also, I saw you guys kind of pulling a little late with Utica Rome Galaxy convertible.
Yes, they restored that for us at the track. It's a replica of what it was.
All right, well, very nice job. We appreciate everything you guys do here with the Central New York Soccer Hall of Fame and racing in general. So thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. We've got some prizes. Mr. Mike Gould. Been busy boy. Let's talk about the pink and white number 3.
Well, that was the only thing. I actually got started in all this. He was here. No, I enjoy doing Charlie's car. They were my favorite. I've gone through others. Tommy, went out there.
All right, well, Mike, we appreciate doing what you do, and we've got sports. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give these folks a hand for a nice display of cars.
And if you guys want to squeeze in, anybody want to take a picture there? You want to squeeze in?
Jim, I'd like to say something. Barbara, she does a fantastic job at Utica Rome. I'm there every week. She does a super job. She does a super job.
Thanks, Liz.
They're always there to give everything they've got, whatever you need, help out, and we do appreciate them. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, our next inductee is our Pioneer Award winner, Mr. Willie Whiteman. Born in 1938, that makes him 74 years young. And he lives in Schuyler Lake with his spouse Eleanor and his family, Russell, Craig, Curtis, Steve, Tammy. And we thank you for being here today. I asked Willie, who had the most influence on you and why? And he said it was Frank Trickus. When I was 15, I owned my first race car. Ralph Schultz drove it, and we raced at the same tracks that Frank did. South Columbia, Richfield, Little Falls, Sharon Springs. We happened to park next to Frank in the pits, and we became good friends. He was very knowledgeable about racing, and he helped us out a lot. And I think Frank Trickus probably helped a lot of guys out. He participated in his first race at 19. 1958, he started racing for himself in a 1935 Ford, and then he had a 41 Ford with a flathead V8 in it. He ran under the numbers 22, and then later in the late model class number 6, and with Jack Taylor, late model number 52. Mid-State and Brookfield were the tracks that he called home. The last race that Willie raced in was here in Morris in 1969. The most memorable moment in Willie's racing career is the day that he beat his hero and mentor, Moose Carey. It was only a heat race, he said. We were out front and we changed positions back and forth. I finally passed him coming out of the fourth turn and beat him to the finish line. Moose gave me a big thumbs up. It's something that he'll never forget. The most memorable moment of his racing career off the track was the day that he met Bill Wimble and had his picture taken with him. He said he's a real nice, down-to-earth kind of guy to talk to, but as far as he's concerned, he's still a legend. His favorite race car driver was Moose Carey, and Moose was also his toughest. His three best racing friends was Moose, Russ Evans, and Clyde Hewitt. Willie's interests now are working with his church and the Exeter Historical Society, and he loves to get together with old stock car drivers, taking over old times, especially at the fair when I get a chance to drive a car. If anything that he would have done differently in his racing career, he said, I would have found out a lot more about how to build a stock car and what to put in it before I just jumped in the racing business. I think a lot of guys just jumped in and scrapped themselves out, made a bunch of friends, and had a bunch of fun. Willie came to the Hall of Fame here 4 or 5 years ago for the first time, and I think he mailed me 3 letters in the same year. He says he had such a blast, he had so much fun, I can't wait for next year. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2012 honoree, Mr. Willie White. Want to say a few words?
Well, I've had 3 great loves in my life. God, my family, and stock car racing. And I'm really humbled and honored to receive this award. And I want to thank you. And I want to thank all my friends and family and the people from my church that came to share this with me today. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Will. We'll take our time here so that folks can get their pictures. One of my cars here today is the Ray Kennedy 67 over here on the trailer. I wasn't able to make it down here to the fair. So I called up Willie and I said, Willie, looking for a ride this weekend? How'd you like to drive my car in the fair? He didn't take half a second to answer that question. Anybody else? Willie White. All right, I'm going to work my way this way to this way. I don't know if it's left or right or whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bert Culver. Hey, he had a birthday yesterday. I don't know. Can we sing happy birthday to Murphy? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bert Stockholder. Happy birthday to you. Tell us a little about the 78 car you had out here. You're running this weekend and where?
Not that one.
Oh, you're running it.
We retired it last year. We got another one. A newer car.
No, we all.
Yeah. Run out of Middletown.
All right, well, run down to Middletown next weekend. We'll see this hot shoe in action.
What's up?
You know what I mean?
Oh,
All right, Bert, thanks for bringing the car up and being with us here today. Thank you very much. All right, Johnny Dan.
Yeah. It's a 2005 chassis pro stock, Jerome Packard.
How's your season been this year? Fair. Fair, better than last year?
yeah.
It's,
You did.
nice meets out there. We look forward to seeing it. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Knapp. My next victim, honoree here, Mr. Art Kaiser, former deputy here, the North Stock Car Hall of Fame, got the CSRA sprint car out there, number 29.
Yep, 29. I got two of them. My son's been running the other one and winning with it. I've been running into a lot of walls this year. But yeah, we have a lot of fun with it. It is what it is.
Well, it was real fun. Your group was down at the Thunder Mountain Speedway here a couple weeks ago. It was a good group of cars. Boy, those guys are tough.
We're going to I-88 next this coming week.
All right. I-88 Speedway, CSRA Sprints in action.
You want to see a good race? Come on by.
Well, I think he told me down there, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, the best racing you can get, right?
That's it. You got it right. That's right. You know, all the adrenaline you need right out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Art Kaiser.
Take a minute. Last week at Utica Rome, I was in grandstand, and I'm talking to Art, and he said I retired. My last race was last night. I said, what happened? He said, I ran in the wall last night, and I ran into the wall the night before. He said, I'm all done. I looked over him, I looked him in the eyes, I looked through his glasses, and said, Art, you can clean in your damn glasses with Scotch Brothers. Get a new pair of glasses, you'll be back racing again. So did you get them yet? I got them.
John Rose, good to see you again. Tell us a little bit about your year.
It's been okay. We've got 5 wins, 7 points for the 3rd year in a row. One did not start until the sun points. Cars, last car my father had, the basic core of the car, the old Bushmaster chassis. I've re-clipped both ends, and it still works good. It's a 97 Thunderbird, Cleveland motor, and it works.
Got a couple of weeks left, and your season will be up.
Yep, one more points race in Catskills weekend, and Friday night my father ran the second car, put less dents in, and I did mine, finished 7th.
Yeah, Billy was telling me a little story. He says, you know, I've been having problems with my knees and kind of aching and everything. He says ever since he's hopped out of the car, he's been fine. He says that's the kind of therapy I need. John Rose, ladies and gentlemen. Our next honoree is the Don Phoenix Award winner, Mr. Glenn Holly. Glenn Holly was a racer here at the Mid-State Speedway and then moved on to become a promoter here at the Mid-State Speedway. Out of Maryland, New York is where the small businessman running a salvage yard put the pieces and parts together to build his cars, but they always were with Pontiacs. He tried his luck at racing, but he found himself being elected as president of the Mid-State Speedway. As a successful businessman, he found the ways to keep the Speedway alive, and he brought the first Schaefer qualifier and the first pace car to Morris with a partnership of the Utica Good Call Brewery. Promoting races and whatever he could do to help out anyone would be the things that he would be remembered for. Today, we honored him with his rightful place in this Hall of Fame. We will not forget, and we will remember a man whose hard work will not be forgotten. We've lost Glenn a number of years ago. As Britton had stated before, his wife, Lula, is here to accept his induction to this Hall of Fame, and her involvement with the concession stand and the Speedway definitely will not go unnoticed. So, posthumously, we award this to Glenn Holly. If Lula Holly would come forward and their son Jim, and accept the Don Phoenix Award. Jim Holly, ladies and gentlemen.
I would like to thank the association, the volunteers,
sponsors for all the hard work they do to keep this community going. And also all of you for coming out to participate in recognizing all these people for the work they've done. Thank you very much.
Well, I can tell you 100 stories about Glenn Holly. We don't have enough time today, but I'll do another week.
Well, I know you got a show.
He was a great guy. I'll tell you that. He helped anybody.
I'll second that motion.
He's got a great family too. He's got a great family.
Thank you, Lula. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. Rolling. Any of the muscle car guys or the Best Antique truck show up yet? Who do we got? Looking for the 61 black and white Ford Sunliner for the muscle car, and we're also looking for the 1931 Ford truck for the Best Antique.
Nobody claims on that.
Okay, what's your name, sir? Ed Rothwell. Ed Rothwell, and you got a 31 Ford pickup?
So 34 pickup.
Been here to the show before?
I missed it last year, but I've been here 2 years before that.
All right, well, we thank you and appreciate you coming, and congratulations on your award. Thank you very much. Okay. Other guys that brought cars here today, Dave Conley, Rick Berry, Norm Winton, Kevin Winton, and Earl Mueller. Want to come on up? Okay, who are we missing? Dave Conley. Dave Conley, probably out in the parking lot. Okay. Sharon Berry, tell us a little bit about your car.
All I do is wash and wax them.
Okay, Rick's got all the information. Well, I think we probably all know, but just in case, the Falcon out there, the Wow Brothers number 37, formerly driven by Jack Johnson, who is inducted into the Jersey Motorsports Hall of Fame this spring. Okay, well, congratulations. Thanks for being here with us again today and doing all the things that you've done. Appreciate you coming. Okay, Dr. Rich. He's good at it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Earl Mueller, who got his car here today. Fresh from the paint shop.
We got together on Friday with some folks helping us, especially back in the corner. Howard and Hope in and their son John. So they did a great job, and we're going to get our electric crank up through. So that's how it slows down this little.
Well, there's a guy named Justin Doyle that said it ain't racing if there ain't amber fluid somewhere, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, Earl Mueller with the Camaro 123 there, back off the rest. Frank Blanchard is the president of the Mid-State Vintage Antique Stock Car Club, by the way. As while I've got you out here, we'll chat a little bit about the club and how things have been for the racing club this year.
Had a good season. We finished last week at Thunder Mountain. We started out 21 races, did a 21 race season, but we had a rain out. We did a nice season. I had had the Florida races, Florida Tour. Good show now.
You just can't wait, can you?
No, I can't.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Frank Blanchard has a C38, the Buck Holiday car, all behind the grandstand there.
Thank you very much.
You're all right. Okay, our next honoree Mr. Doug Rondell. Born in 1944, that would make him 67 years old. He's here with his wife Marge, his family Bob, Dan, and Jolene. I asked Doug who had the most influence on you to race and why, and he said it was Freddie Heathcock. He was just a great friend and a great mechanic. He started racing at 25 years old in 1969 for himself, driving a 1957 Chevy. He raced under the car numbers 33 and 85. He's competed at Chemung, Utica Rome, Malta, Fulton, and Lebanon Valley. His first feature win came in 1971 at the Chemung Speedrome. He won 2 track championships, one at Chemung and one at Utica Rome. His most memorable moment on the track was winning his first race at Chemung and his son Bob's first feature win on Oswego with a car that they both built with Geekar power under the hood, and it was great. His favorite race car driver is Tony Stewart, and his toughest competitor was Bob Hackle. His best racing friend, I think I'm just trying to get points here, is my wife Marge. Good answer. We asked him if there was any special races or any recognitions, and he said no, that they were all special. His hobbies now are cross-country skiing and woodworking. And obviously, if anything that he would have done differently in his career, he said nothing. Long hours are spent in the shop building and rebuilding cars, especially in the McCready years, and being associated with Bill Wendell and some of his accomplishments will always be a lifetime memory. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor and privilege to bring to the stage the 2012 Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Doug Rondell. Take your place here by the Hall of Fame trophy, and we'll get your picture taken. And we'll draw a couple more door prize tickets as we're taking photos. Our next inductee comes from the sportsman ranks, Mr. Red Harrington. Born in 1939, that makes him 73 years. He's here today. Family members with him, Russ and Jillian, Tim Burns and Terry, wife Joan. 1956 was the year that Milton Red Harrington, most of you folks probably don't know what his first name really was, had influenced by Don Beadle Jr. We built cars together at Don's Auto Parts in the early years. Started racing at the age of 16. He was driving a 1936 Chevrolet with a Buick Straight 8 in it. He raced under car numbers 129, 150, and the infamous 14. He's raced at Pencan, Midstate, 5 Mile, Langhorne, Fonda, Middletown, Thunder Mountain, Rolling Wheels, Twin Valley, and the Syracuse Mile. He picked up his first feature win at 5 Mile Point in 1960. Started racing in 1961 in Morris and won one track championship at Twin Valley. His last race was at 5 Mile Point in 1973 at the conclusion of the Southern Tier 500. I asked Red what his most memorable moment was on his racing career on the track. He said winning the East Kerr Memorial in 1965, the 5 Mile National Speed Sport Trophy, and the 5 Mile Point win was a special race as well. I asked Red, what are your most memorable moments off the track? halo over the archway for the motel. The same year, Maynard Shorter flipped 20 times in his NASCAR. He said all the Northeast boys stayed at the Royal Arms Hotel. His favorite race car driver is A.J. Foyt, and his toughest competitor, Mr. Dave Kneisel. His best racing friends, Don Beagle Jr. and Chuck Akulis. Special races that Red has won over the years is the Irving Memorial and the National Speed Sport Race, the Southern Tier 500. He's had many recognitions on and off during the last 45 years. First time he's been back to Mid-State, 40 years, he said here today. Some of his hobbies and interests now, he says, I'm still a gearhead, antique cars and muscle cars. And anything that he would have done differently in his career, he said, well, I should have learned some patience because I never had it and I still don't have it. And so I always like being out on the edge. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage our 2012 Hall of Fame honoree, Mr. Red Harrington. And the mic's all yours.
Thanks, folks, for this wonderful turnout today. I appreciate it so much. So many of us old-timers have gone, but we still have the gears in our heads, I guess, to keep going. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything.
Okay, Red Harrington. I just want to thank everybody for coming. I do want to recognize the drivers that are here today. Don Beagle, Chuck Akulis, anybody that's ever raced a car here at Forest or any place, if you would please stand up so that we can give you folks a round of applause. Please stand up if you could. Joe Martin back there, that's right. Joe Martin, Billy Rose, and there's so many out there I can't even count. Ray Budsey, Bob Wood. It's a real fun event, folks, and I really enjoy putting this thing on. It's a lot of work. I do appreciate, folks think about signing up to be on the committee for next year's event. Stay tuned for more information for next year's show. It's been an honor and privilege. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank the guys for bringing cars, car crews in, and the folks that donated some door prizes. We look forward to seeing you here next year. Weekend after Labor Day,